Hello and welcome to Rule of Three's video review for Halo 4, a futuristic first-person shooter from 343i. I'm Roy Mannon, the leader of the Rule of Three crew, and with me is my partner, Sinister Dreamer. How are you doing today?
Very good. How are yourself?
I'm doing amazing. So, Halo, we're gonna start off talking about the Halo franchise, like we usually do. Is you always talk about, the history of these long, franchise games. And for me, Halo, I only like the first Halo, to be honest. That's the only one I've ever liked, but I hold it in very high regards because it is, I think, one of the best first-person shooters to ever come out. What about you?
I've liked Halo from most of the games. There have been some lowlights, but most of the games I can get through, and I've liked them all.
Yeah, I think my main issue was, at least with the later ones, is the story wasn't as strong as in the first game. I mean, the multiplayer, I like it on all of them, but the campaign, it seems from one to two, two is I didn't like really at all. But I kind of put that up to the sequel. The sequel's never as really good as the first. But I don't know. The third one was better than the second one, but I still felt kind of let down.
Yeah, well, you can still look at it like in the fact that in the line of the game, Halo was their big game. Yeah, everyone liked Halo. It was one of their best, and you can tell that. Two, it was like, okay, we're just banking off of, okay, Halo 1 made money. Let's see if we can make a second one. With no real emphasis on, doing much with it. Just like, okay, let's make another one. It was still big because, people liked Halo and the anybody who did play usually knew about the lore of the game, so playing it was like, okay, I can figure out where sections of the games are at. Then you get to 3, then it's just the start of it kind of going out of Bungie's hands, and they're like, whatever, we're getting done with this game. It's our last game, big hoorah kind of deal.
Right.
And then it goes from there to ODST, which for me I liked ODST, and then you had Reach, which you can really tell that game just kind of was like Bungie's like, okay, we're done.
Yeah, that one seemed more like a cash grab than anything else. It really did. I mean, it was still, a good Halo game, but I felt it was kind of just milking it a little bit.
Yeah, and that was Bungie and Microsoft back then. It was like, okay, and that's kind of lost ODST and Reach were kind of like the last games that you can really tell where the basically Bungie and 343 Industries broke off.
Right. Well, 343 did Halo Wars, didn't they?
No,
I thought that was 343.
they had oversight on it,
Okay.
but they didn't really have any real deal. It was a third party.
Oh, okay. Cause
That's why it was terrible.
yeah, because I remember when Halo Wars came. Because when I heard Halo 4 was being developed by 343i, not Bungie, I went to Halo Wars because I remember them saying 343 had a lot to do with it. But if they were just oversight, okay, that
Yeah,
makes
it
a
was
lot more
pretty much
sense.
because
Because this is a lot
I,
different.
for me, I follow a lot of the lore and everything, and I was part of the forum community that took part in talking about what was on with Halo Wars and 343 and Bungie.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of just they put their label on it, but it was like, okay, we can't really put our hands in it, and here's our oversight of what we want to put in the game. And then they just got the game made. It was a poor execution of trying to make the game go back to its RTS originals from where Bungie wanted it.
Yeah, I agree with that. But going back to at least at least the first numbered Halos. I mean, at least with number one, I think the biggest thing that has going for it, maybe why I hold it in such high regard, is more nostalgia because it was the title release for the original Xbox, and it was the reason I did get an Xbox, and really the only reason I kept it. And I remember going over to my friend's house and just doing multiplayer. I mean, we did campaign, beat it, but once you beat it on Legendary, we've done it like 12 times already. We just, weekends, we do, hours upon hours of just multiplayer.
Yeah, and that's the one big thing that always has been the big draw for Halo has always been multiplayer. Okay, here you go, multiplayer. Go compete against people and go see who can do what.
Right. Mm, yeah, but I mean, like I said, Halo 1, I heard hold it is very revolutionary in terms of the first-person shooter genre. It did change a lot, and I mean, like I said, I love the first one. 2 and 3, like I said, I like the multiplayer, but I felt the campaign was lacking, and it just didn't feel as right. And I played a little bit of Region ODST, and I just stopped caring. Like, I almost wrote off 4. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, four. I actually I love 4 because it actually went back to a company that actually cares about their fan base and story.
Yeah, I'm about to say
Because
that.
I'll throw this out, Reach. The story wasn't great because okay, Fall of Reach. I just don't think Bungie understood that you can't have certain different Spartans from different timelines in the thing in one spot.
Yeah, well, all I remember from Reach is from the campaign is everybody. Obviously, it's not really spoilers. If you know anything about Reach, everybody dies. That was pretty obvious when the game came out because they tell you that in Halo 1. But I remember watching. I think it was Zero Punctuation, and it was pretty. I like his synopsis of what Reach was. It was just the who can die the most glory. Go out in the most glory and fire possible, and that was all Reach was.
Yeah. It was just basically, okay, let's put, here's the story of what happened on Reach, why, Master Chief's on the Pillar of Autumn in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that's Reach in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's move on to actually talking about Halo 4 now. So, like we said, this is 343 Industries and not Bungie. In terms of the gameplay, I think 343 did better.
Yes.
I think they did a lot better. And with the campaign, I actually like the storyline in this one much better than the first one.
Yeah, I have to agree. I like the story. It's the fact that they were actually going back to the lore of the game and, telling of what, is going on.
Right.
Where kind of pretty much how and where things kind of gotten started. Why the rings are around, why the flood's around, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, a little bit, and what kind of happened, a little bit more on the Forerunners and their background. And the only thing I'm going to hold against it is I thought the campaign was too short. I wanted more.
But to fight against that, 343 indicated that the story was going to be short and it was going to be continued with Spartan Ops.
Yeah, well, and it's a trilogy.
Yeah.
I believe they said. So,
yeah.
I mean, like I said, that's the only thing I'm holding against it. But on the grander scale, I know why they did it. And, it's a good thing. Because it makes me, I'm waiting for Halo 5 now. I want to continue this story because it does kind of conclude itself, but it does also kind of, there's some unanswered questions that I want to know what's going on with.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you've got what's going on now. Okay, Master Chief is done over, but he's still Master Chief. He's still got work to do. So it's like, you can't just end it, because he's a Spartan. He's going to go back to work doing what he knows what he can do.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. I mean, I don't want to go into spoilers, but, there's one character that I want to know what happens with, because at the ending video, it looks like something's going on with that. The Forerunner arc, at least all the stuff that dealt with them, I mean, they didn't really answer anything. I mean, they answered one or two things, mainly the main villain's, reason for what he's doing. But they didn't go into a whole lot into what's going on in the subplot with that.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 Forerunners, and they don't really explain what the second one does, per se. Like I said, I don't want to get into major spoilers.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's still a couple questions I want with that. And then, the opening video, they talk about Master Chief and, the Spartan children and stuff. And it almost sounds like there's something else going on that they don't even talk about.
Yeah. The whole thing with the opening sequence, and then you have Halsey, and that one remark she makes about the guy that's talking to her, it's like, oh, so what is actually going on?
Yeah, there's something else going on, and they never really dealt with that, and I want to know why. And I have a feeling it has something to do with the Forerunners and what's going on with Master Chief.
Yeah.
And I just want to know. Like I said, the camp, I haven't had... One I just kind of ended. I'm like, okay, it was a fun game, and I like, the overall story. But this one, I mean, unlike 2, where, it's, there's going to be more later, and it, left at a cliffhanger. This one does it so much better in leaving it open and make me want to know more, because it does leave so many unanswered questions that they set up. So, like I said, I actually think this is better than the original trilogy, and I hope the next one's better.
Yeah.
I like where it's going.
Yeah, that's like, I have a great feeling that 343i is going to take this beyond what Bungie did, because, like I said, they're making the game for their fans.
Yeah, as long as they don't do, like I said, I honestly think Bungie and Microsoft just did a cash grab with the last few. As long as 343i doesn't go that route with the next ones, you just go, oh, it's a Halo, they'll buy it because the last one was so good. I'll be happy, and I'll get back onto the Halo train because, like, it is, you know, I did like it up until 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Where I was severely disappointed. So with that, we will close the talk on the campaign and story because, like I said, there's a lot of spoilers in this one because obviously it does set up a lot for the trilogy, and there's a couple of little minor plot details I don't want to give out. So with that, we're now going to go into the multiplayer section of the game, which is the other big draw for me because, like I said, I've always liked the Halo multiplayer. I've always thought it's pretty fun. And this one you have not just, you know, your typical, you know, team deathmatch, free-for-all, or, you know, King of the Hill style and all the other fun varieties. They had a spot mode called Spartan Ops, which is basically a episodic multiplayer campaign.
Yeah, it's continuing every week over, I think, the next.
And I heard.
Yeah,
Like
10 weeks.
Yeah.
10 weeks or something.
Yeah, and that's
but
just season 1.
Yeah, it's like they've got so many they're planned out that it could continue afterward, depending on, you know, how it goes. And so far, what I've played of Spartan Ops, it's amazing. It's a nice little additional add-on to the story of what's going on after the game.
Yeah, it is nice because it is a continuation of what's going on, and I want to know. I'm hoping that this kind of closes off a few, like maybe the first shred in the the opening video helps a little bit with that one, and kind of go into more of what's actually going on. But like I said, this is season 1. I think I heard somewhere they're planning on doing like 5 seasons.
Yeah, they're planning on something like that, but they're like, okay, we'll see how season 1 goes, and, you know, plan from there. Of, okay, hey, it did so well. Okay, we can continue on. Otherwise, it may end, and, you know, Halo 5 comes out, you know, at some point.
Yeah, but I mean, at least with Spartan Ops, I mean, like I said, it is pretty much just a multiplayer campaign for the most part. You can single player it too, but it's meant for multiple people.
Yeah, I've been playing it solo, and it's difficult.
Yeah, I tried soloing it too. It's not.
I'm even playing it on normal, and I'm having troubles. I don't want to see what legendary is like on solo.
Yeah, I don't want to. Although I think there's an accomplishment for doing it. I don't want to know what that
there always is. It's the Halo franchise kind of deal. There's always something with legendary, you know, a special end sequence or the achievements that are always, hey, you know, do this on legendary and you get this, you know, 50-point achievement.
Yeah, I think it was rating its a customization item for your multiplayer character because it is part of the multiplayer stuff. I mean, the other thing, I mean, if you don't care for Spartan Ops and you'd rather just play the main campaign, at least watch the videos for each episode. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're informative.
They're very informative. They're actually fun to watch. I enjoy it. The CG in this game is so much better.
Honestly, when I first saw any graphics for this from the dev diaries that they were putting out before the game, I honestly thought it was models, because the first image image I saw of, you know, any real gameplay was Master Chief sitting in a Warthog, and it, you know, he's looking out the front window just sitting there. Then all of a sudden he moves. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, they really. I think they're pushing the 360 to its max on this because the graphics on this game are
amazing.
Amazing. They're very impressive. Everything's so shiny.
Yeah, it's like it stands out. Even this fact that they have the motion cap. The whole game is. It's not just, okay, you know, computer program of, okay, you put the person in the program and yeah, you got it. No, they're actually filming all of the cast. So you've got, you know, the scenes on the Infinity are all, you know, they're actually in studio filming this in motion capture suits, and it looks good.
Yeah, like I said, it's just, I was impressed when I first, because I didn't follow the game because I really didn't care about Halo 4 because I'm like, oh great, it's another cash grab game. Oh, it looks pretty, you know, from the CG they showed at E3 2 years ago when they first announced it. I'm like, okay, that looks, that's pretty good for CG. But that's pretty much how the entire game looks. I mean, that is impressive.
Yeah.
So enough on the graphics and how impressive it is. Back to multiplayer. I love the multiplayer in this one. Once again, I think it's better than the original 3's multiplayer. Even all reaches and all the updates and stuff. I think this is by far one of the best multiplayers I have played in a long time.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm actually enjoying multiplayer, and then I especially like the new addition they added to multiplayer, which is called the Flood.
Yeah, that one's fun. I did a couple of rounds of Flood. That's a very interesting multiplayer map, I guess you would call it, or gameplay.
Yeah.
Which is good because I remember them because I was playing the campaign and I was waiting for the Flood to show up because I heard that the Flood were coming back and they never did. So I'm like, what? And then they apparently just meant in multiplayer.
Yeah.
But it's good to see them back. I've always liked the Flood. They're interesting race.
They've been annoying, but it's actually kind of nice to have a game that actually includes the Flood again. It's like, oh, okay, now we don't forget it.
Yeah. So I mean, the major differences that are very noticeable is the what are they called? Not customizations. The loadouts.
Yeah. The ability is to set up whatever gun type or set of guns that you want in multiplayer to play with. So when you spawn in, you have this instead of just the basic. Okay, here's the assault rifle. Here's the pistol. Go find your weapons.
Right, but I mean, it's not you can choose from any weapon. I mean, first you have to unlock it by getting a certain level, and then using every time you level up, you get a point that you can use, and you can unlock stuff with it. But I mean, it's very basic. I think it's the battle rifles for each 3 of the races. So you have the humans, the Covenant, and then the Promethean weapons. And that's all you can start off with. It's just those set of semi-auto weapons, and that's it. Everything else is either you have to find it on the map, which is randomly spawned, and it's never usually the same item twice, or you have to call in for a drop.
Yeah, which is a nice, fun little thing that they added, so you don't have to race to a spot to find okay, the weapon that you want. No, you can actually have a call in and drop a certain weapon you want into the game at a point you deem like, okay, I want a sniper rifle. We'll call that drop in. Boom, you got your sniper rifle now.
Well, it's not even guaranteed because the drops are pretty much randomized too, at least from what I've noticed. I mean, it has a set weaponry that it'll choose from, but I never get the same loadout or drop twice usually in the same game. If I get 2 or usually within even a few games, it's different.
Ah.
Because I mean, there usually drops one of 4 weapons. It's either a sniper rifle, a rocket launcher, or it's just some really powerful weapon. And then it also drops some buffs and stuff.
Yeah.
I usually go for the weapon because the buffs that in this game, unless there's damage reduction, I always go for a damage reduction buff because that'll get my kill score or kill streak going, which then I can get it out, drop out faster.
Yeah.
But it adds so, like I said, in the original ones, you did have to kind of rush to that one spot for whatever weapon. This one you can't do that. It's more kind of you have to get the kills going in order to get the weapon you want, and then the weapons on the map might not be there all the time, so you can't count on those.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of more
scrounge. You have to get used to the weapons that you have unlocked and get good with them to do anything.
Yeah. So, like I said, I like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than I even think it's better than Battlefield's multiplayer, and I love Battlefield.
Yeah.
It's a different.
Battlefield and COD is like you have some change to it. It's like they took the aspect of okay, a loadout from COD and Battlefield, but change up the guns on the map, and it's like okay, here, moving around, there you go.
Right. So it's still very Halo-ish, but yeah, it did borrow a couple of elements from Call of Duty and Battlefield and added it into that formula, and I think it's a great mix.
Yeah.
What they took, it works really well. So, yeah, like I said, I love the multiplayer. I stayed up all night last night with my baby since she was having a little trouble going to sleep, and I was just playing that. It was great. I enjoyed it. Of course, I've sleep deprived the rest of the day, but it was worth it. So the last thing I want to talk about, because I totally forgot to talk about this, is the gameplay differences, and obviously you can still talk about it because it still works in multiplayer. Not as much, though. But in the campaign as well. It's pretty much the exact same. 2 weapons. You find, enemies drop weapons, you pick that up. But I found the game to be more ammo, scrounging.
Yeah.
I was tossing guns left and right because I'd run out of ammo. There's none of the guns on the floor really the same, so I'd have to toss that, pick up a new one, use all the ammo on that one, toss that one, find a new one. A lot more than I remember ever having to do.
I after the first couple missions, I found a certain couple of rifles that it's like, okay, once I'm done with my human weapons, okay, I can change to the Promethean submachine gun and battle rifle, and I can scrounge those bullets up like no candy, because hey, look, the enemies I'm killing are dropping the weapons that I use. Woo!
Yeah,
I'm not running out of ammo.
What's it called? The suppressor was the easiest gun to find ammo for, but it did have its drawback because it did have a low accuracy, high rate of fire. So unless you're close, it was a little harder. So I mean, you even still had to be kind of careful with those. Like I said, I was tossing guns left and right because I was just trying to find ammo, and none of the guns I really had on me most of the time I could find. Because I remember, at least in Halo, going back to the original trilogy, is I carried the battle rifle with me wherever I went. I always found ammo for it.
Yeah, well, with the battle rifle and one, it was because of the fact that you had ammo caches all over the place. Because, well, let's see, you're dealing with human drops all over the place, from teams that were being sent out prior to you going in, and hey, look, they're dead, but hey, their weapons are still here. I can pick up ammo.
Right, but I still felt once again going into the whole. I had this problem with Killzone not doing this. Is if you're on an enemy planet and it's just you and a small group, and you do have limits to what you can produce, is ammo should be a little bit harder to find. You should have to scavenge for different things a little bit more. And I didn't feel that really in effect in 1 through 3. But in this one, like I said, it definitely feels like it's just you on this planet and a very small group of humans. You have to do whatever you can to get weaponry.
Yep.
You cannot rely on just carrying the same weapon through the entire campaign.
No. Yeah, you start off with your human weapon, and then you have to scrounge from there.
Yeah, and like I said, the guns that you do find a little bit more commonly and can pick up ammo, they're a little weaker. So, if you want the stronger guns, you gotta, pick those up. Make sure you use the ammo to its most efficient level. Toss it and get another one real quick.
Exactly.
So that's really the only difference in gameplay that I know of. Did you notice anything really different? Oh, the special abilities.
Yeah, special abilities that actually worked with the game, not Reach, where it's like the one thing that annoyed me was, oh, special abilities. Wait, where were they in 1?
Yeah.
Did all of a sudden we go back to Stone Age after the pillar left?
Apparently.
Yeah. Well,
they're back, and they make sense in this one because they explain it.
Yeah. Well, it honestly just makes sense in general because the only thing you start off with is sprint or a jetpack. Well, those are understandable to have because the technology is there. But then you start picking up a shield. Hey, yeah, but that's because one of those flying thingies dropped it, or a drone. Well, one of the enemies had it. It all gets very well explained or not explained at all, and you just it makes sense.
Well, it goes back to my earlier comments on that. You scrounge what you can in order to survive. In this one, you're really picking up whatever pieces of technology from whatever race you can, adapting it, and using it to your advantage in order to continue.
Yeah.
I think the first special ability you get is Covenant, is the cloak.
Yeah. You get it off of one of the stealth elites, and boom, you kill him. Oh, look, stealth. Okay, cloak.
Well, Cortana even brings it up. Hey, let's see if we can work this into our systems.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, and then you can get the little shield too that the stupid little guys with the shield use. I don't remember what they're called. Jackals. But then once you meet the Prometheans, they start dropping off. I remember the first one you get for them is their visor, so you can see them through. Go see how they see. Yeah, and that was cool.
It's like, oh, that's how they're able to see me through the fog. Is because they have this vision. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean the upgrades in this, or special abilities in this one, just made a lot more sense. And once again, it helped me get into more of the I have to do whatever I can and use whatever I can find in order to get off this place and complete my mission.
Yep.
So with that, I think have pretty much gone over everything in this game that's worth talking about. So we're gonna give our scores now. We'll start with Sinister again.
I put it as a buy because one, I've loved the Halo franchise in general. Yeah, some of the games were bad, but I loved it in general, and this game really topped it for me.
I also give it a buy. This is better than Halo 1. I think this is one of the greatest first-person shooters to come out in recent times. And like I said, I think the campaign, I thought it was better than the first one. And once again, I'm addicted to multiplayer right now. So I don't think I could say anything else other than buy. So you have a double buy for this one. So that's it for Halo 4. Next week, we'll be doing Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Another first-person shooter game. From this is Tritech, right?
Treyarch.
Or Treyarch. I didn't like the first Black Ops. I don't care about this one. At least right now. I haven't played it yet. That could change. Like I said, I'm very open to games. Anyway, Impressions will not be with us here for that one either, but he will be back for the following week, which will be PlayStation's All Stars. He will be back for that one, along with another guest reviewer for that one, because it is a 4-player brawl. I felt that we should probably have a 4th person in on this one, because it's a party game. It's like Super Smash Bros. Just with PlayStation. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week, and everybody have a good day.